Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to choose you, to validate you, to finally see what you already know you're worth. Stop waiting for the right moment, the right circumstances, the right sign that it's finally safe to become who you already are. Because here is what that waiting is actually costing you. And it's not what you think. Psychologists call it an external locus of control. It's the belief, often unconscious, that what happens to you is determined primarily by forces outside yourself. Other people's decisions, luck, timing, circumstances beyond your reach. Research consistently shows that people who operate from an external locus of control experience higher levels of anxiety, lower resilience, and a persistent feeling of helplessness, even when their external circumstances are objectively fine. In other words, the waiting itself is the wound, not the thing you are waiting for. And there is something else. When you ask for what you need from a place of lack, from a place of, I don't have this yet, I need something outside of me to provide it, you are not just describing a feeling. You are reinforcing a neural pattern. You are training your brain to keep scanning for evidence that the lack is real. Neuroscientists call this the reticular activating system. It fills your experience based on what you've told it to look for. Tell it you're lacking, and it will find you proof every single day that you are. Now, I want to be careful here. When I say stop waiting for permission, I am not talking about ambition or desire or hope. Those are not the problem. The problem is the posture. There is a difference between moving towards something you want and standing at a distance, hoping it moves toward you. Begging, and I use the word not to shame, but to be precise, begging is what happens when we outsource our sense of worthiness to something external. When we need the job offer to feel capable. When we need the relationship to feel lovable. When we need the approval to feel enough. And most of us learned this pattern very young. We learned that love was conditional, that safety depended on someone else's mood, that our value was something other people assigned to us, not something we were born with. So we grew up waiting, performing, asking, quietly, sometimes desperately, for someone or something to confirm what we're never taught to simply know. That pattern is not a character flaw, it is an adaptation. It kept you safe once, but it is no longer serving you. Self-determination theory, one of the most robust frameworks in modern psychology, tells us that human beings have three core psychological needs: autonomy, competence, relatedness. And here is what's important. These needs are not fulfilled by other people granting them to us. They are fulfilled by us living as though they are already true. Autonomy is not given, it is claimed. Competence is built through action, not confirmed by external validation. Relatedness, real connection, does not come from needing someone to complete you. It comes from two whole people choosing each other. The shift, living as though you already have what you seek, is not a trick of positive thinking. It is a psychological truth. When you act from sufficiency rather than scarcity, you make different decisions. You pursue different opportunities. You stop accepting less than you deserve because you have stopped telling yourself that less is all there is. This is not about pretending everything is fine or about performing confidence you don't feel. It is about making one fundamental internal decision: that your worth is not up for negotiation, that it does not require a second opinion and is never contingent on someone else's yes. So what does this look like practically? Because I don't believe in insights that don't translate into something you can do on an ordinary Tuesday morning. It looks like applying for the opportunity without waiting to feel ready, because readiness, for most of us, only comes after we begin, not before. It looks like setting a boundary without apologizing for having one as a boundary is simply the outer edges of your self-respect. It looks like stopping the habit of over-explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. It looks like making the decision, the one you've been waiting for someone else to make for you, and being okay with the consequences of your own choices rather than living indefinitely in someone else's waiting room. Researchers who study post-trauma growth consistently find one consistent factor. Not the absence of pain, not luck. The common factor is agency, the belief that choices matter, that they are not simply at the mercy of what happens to them. That belief is available to you, right now, in this moment, without anyone's permission. Last time we talked about deciding what to do with the time you have left, about setting your intention and releasing what was never yours to control. This is part of that conversation. You can't release anything if you are still waiting for it to validate you. Freedom from the external world begins the moment you stop needing it to confirm your worth. Stop waiting for the perfect job or promotion to prove your capability. You are already capable. Stop waiting for the right person to make you feel lovable. You are already worth of love. Stop waiting for circumstances to change for you to be living the life you are building. The permission you have been waiting for is yours to give and always has been. I hope that helped. Subscribe if this is the kind of conversation you want to keep having. See you next week.